welcome back to the channel. Today is December 30th and tomorrow is New Year's Eve here. So I'm making the gumbo that I talked about in the last video, and I'm going to be making a turkey and andouille sausage gumbo. I'm making it today and going to cool it down because gumbos always taste better the next day. A friend who's from Louisiana, that's always been his recommendation. And soups generally taste better the next day. So I'm making it today. I'm going to have it for New Year's Eve. So let me talk to you a little bit about gumbo. Gumbo comes from Louisiana. There's the Creole version and the Cajun version. And of course, just like many foods, there's always controversy and there's always their version, whether it's your town, your city, your family, they always have their own version. But the basics of a gumbo is you start with a roux, that's flour and oil, and that's the thickener. That's also the base of the soup, besides the stock. Then you're going to add your vegetables, and down south they call it the Holy Trinity: onions, celery, and bell peppers, green bell peppers. And then you add your flavorings, you add your seasonings, and you add usually some cayenne pepper, some bay leaves, some other local, like I said, depends on where you're coming from and what your family likes. The other item is the protein. There's seafood. You can do crab, oysters, shrimp, turkey, chicken, rabbit. I'm sure you could make it with squirrel and other different animals. Then there's ones that are vegetarian. That's just slowly cooked hearty greens like collard greens and things like that. So back in the day when I was young and I was getting into cooking, I always really enjoyed Creole cooking. Part of it was when I was a little kid, I would watch this gentleman, Justin Wilson. And he was on the cooking show. I think he was on PBS. And instead of watching cartoons on Saturdays, I'd watch PBS. And I'd watch cooking shows. This guy is hilarious. If you could pull him up on YouTube or any other way of finding Justin Wilson. I found this book in a thrift store up in Big Bear, and I bought it right away. So Justin Wilson, hilarious guy. This particular one has 300 recipes of real home cooking. So this is homegrown Louisiana cooking. Very legit. Next came along this gentleman, Paul Prudhomme. Now when I was going to cooking school, he was doing a book signing where at a local market, Bristol Farms in South Pasadena. So my buddy and I went, and he did a little cooking demonstration. What was awesome was that he signed my book. So total inspiration. Again, back in the 1980s, he was kind of the guy that brought Cajun and Creole cooking to life. Brought it. He had his own cooking show too, and amazing guy. Then in the 90s, Emeril Lagasse came along, and I'm pretty sure all of you know who Emeril Lagasse is because he kicks everything up and he goes bam. So he had a cooking show on the Food Network, and that's kind of really where cooking shows became more mainstream. They went from PBS, public access, to a mainstream channel called the Food Network. So also he signed my book. This was back in 1996. So I was still going to cooking school at this time. The backstory on this was he was doing a book signing at Book Soup in Hollywood, and I called my buddy and said, "Hey, want to meet Emeril Lagasse?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go." I'm like, "All right, we're going to this book signing." Well, that day happened to rain and rain and rain. So we stood out in the rain for, I want to say, an hour and a half. And we got to the line, got to the front of the line, and they cut the line off. I was like, oh no, I stood in this line. Well, Emerald had to go walk around all the tables because you could pay more and dine and do the book signing. So I got cut off at that line. I had to wait even longer, maybe about half an hour. And then he came to the he came to the line, and I was able to get his book and get it signed. So these three right here are my Cajun Creole inspirations. And I love cooking Creole and eating Cajun food. So with this channel right now, the first one I'm doing is gumbo. I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do jambalayas, poor boys, other items that are in these books, or other items that I've created over the years working in restaurants, hotels, and country clubs. So without further ado, here is how you make gumbo and how I make gumbo, and you can follow along with the Holy Trinity and this turkey stock that I made, and just having everything simmer, and the house fills up with amazing, amazing smells. So anyway, enjoy the video. So I'm done cutting all the vegetables. It's white onions, or yellow, whatever your choice is, green bell peppers, and celery. This, in Cajun and Creole cooking, is called the Holy Trinity. This is what in the French would be the equivalent of onions, carrots, and celery. That's like the base, the vegetable base of a lot of flavor building in French cooking. While down in Louisiana, Creole and Cajun cooking, they call it the Holy Trinity. So you'll find gumbos, etouffees, and jambalayas. They all start with this. The ratio for this is, let's say if you have 1 cup of onions, you're going to do half a cup of bell peppers and half a cup of celery. So altogether that equals 2 cups. So that's your ratio. You can build off of that. The other item I have here is Cajun Andouille sausage. This is made with pork and slightly smoked, a little bit of paprika and a little bit of spice. This is a domestic one that's made here in California. I say domestic because I live in California, but it's not from the South. So Cajun sausage. The other meat that's going to be in this, because it's a turkey and andouille gumbo, is the turkey. I already have that shredded. That's left over from the carcass from the turkey. And all we need to do now is put all this together. Okay, to finish off the ingredient list for this gumbo, I have cayenne pepper. It is a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of Cajun spice, whatever your favorite Cajun spice mix is. If you don't have Cajun spice mix, you can still make it without it. I particularly like Cajun spice mix, and I have it around so I can blacken salmon and chicken. So I added on 2 bay leaves. I have some chopped garlic right here. And at the very end, we add Italian parsley chopped up. And for the stock, we use 2 quarts of turkey stock. Now this turkey stock, like I said before, is from the carcass of the turkey that was for Thanksgiving. Right now, I'm going to give you a little brief tutorial, I guess. I'm not going to really show you because I'm not going to make it, it's already made. But I'm going to talk about how to make a turkey stock from your carcass. Okay, let's talk about turkey stock. From a like a leftover cooked turkey. So after your Thanksgiving or whenever you make a turkey, you save the bones. I freeze it until I'm ready to go ahead and make the stock. What I do is I take those bones, put it into a stock pot, or the largest pan I have, the largest pot I have. The other vessel you can use, which I usually use most of the time, is a crock pot. I have a large crock pot. So that's what I did this last time. I put it in there. And then I take the vegetables. They're called mirepoix in French. It's onions, carrots, and celery. Now I use the skin of the onions because it gives more depth and more depth of color and flavor. So I take those, dice them up, kind of like a large dice, and I roast them in the oven. And I get nice color on them. And then I take them out and I put those vegetables into the crock pot. And I put parsley stems, whole black peppercorns, and some bay leaves into the crock pot with cold water. I let that go for 12 hours. I set it. I go to work. I go do whatever I'm going to go do. I come back and I strain it out. And that is a very simple way to make turkey stock. All right, I am starting off this gumbo by making a roux, and this roux is going to be a dark roux. You're going to get lots of flavor, that robust flavor that a distinctive for a gumbo. There are 3 types of roux: a white, and a blonde, and a dark roux. And there's variations within each color, all those 3 categories. So we start with 1.5 cups of oil. You can use butter, you can use peanut oil, you can use canola oil, vegetable oil, whatever your preference is. Neutral oils are usually the preferred. This one's a peanut oil that I'm using. So this is going to take a while. 15-20 minutes, maybe even longer, just depends. But you definitely want to do this on a low flame. So right there, that's my low flame. I'll probably go just a tad lower. And depending on how this starts cooking and developing in flavor and color, I may adjust it higher or lower. So this is going to be the base of the gumbo. After this gets to the appropriate color, we start adding more ingredients and layering the flavors and producing the gumbo. All right, stay tuned. All right, so now we have this chocolate covered dark roux. And the aroma to me, whenever I cook dark roux, for some reason is popcorn. So maybe it'll smell different to you, but I think it's important to smell the roux and see what it smells like to you. So when you're cooking this, you can see if it's burnt or not. If it smells burnt, I would start over and make a different roux before you start adding vegetables. So now we have this roux. We're going to add the vegetables. And the vegetables that we're adding, that's the Holy Trinity. So bell peppers, onions, celery, those all go in. And this is really hot, so you got to be careful because basically this is boiling oil, which will definitely burn you. So we're going to cook this for roughly 5 minutes until these vegetables wilt and the flavor starts coming out of them. The onions start getting soft and translucent, the bell peppers start breaking down, and this roux starts to do its magic. Okay, so now that these vegetables have gone for about 5-6 minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to stir them up. Let me show you what they look like. So when you stir it, you can see how thick it is, because when I drag the spoon across, you can see the bottom of the pan. The roux is now really glossy. It's gotten a little bit darker. You could smell the roastiness of this roux in the vegetables. And you can see that the vegetables are just about soft. And this is gonna simmer for 2-3 hours, so vegetables will still break down. Next, we're gonna add the andouille sausage. So now we add the andouille sausage. I'm gonna crank up the heat because this is gonna cool it down. Now that the sausage is in here, I'm gonna stir it up. Some of the oil, some of the fat is gonna come out. That's just gonna add to the flavor. You're building flavors here. So we're gonna let this go for about 3 minutes before we add some spices. We're gonna get the spices toasted in there, and then we're gonna add the stock. Okay, now the andouille sausage is in there. It's been there for about 4 or 5 minutes. Just gonna give it a quick stir. You can still see it's thick. You can see the bottom of the pan when I drag the spoon. Now, we're gonna add the garlic, cayenne pepper, Cajun seasoning if you have it, and bay leaves. This is gonna go pretty fast because garlic has a high sugar content in it and you don't want it to burn. You definitely don't want to burn the spices, since this is basically just oil and flour. Okay, the stock has been added now. You can see it's pretty thin. It's thin like a chicken noodle soup or something like that. But that roux, over the next 2 hours, is going to thicken the broth. And what we need to do is cook this on a simmer for at least 2 hours. It's going to cook out the flavor of the flour, and it's also going to get thick, and it's going to break down the vegetables even more. And everything's going to become this harmonious gumbo. Later, we're going to add parsley, we're going to add the shredded turkey, and we are also going to add some gumbo filet. This right here, I don't particularly like okra. If you like okra, you would add okra to this. I particularly don't like it, so I add this. And kind of the rule of thumb is you either add okra, which the sliminess from the okra will help thicken it also, or you add this. This is made from sassafras. Right there, ground sassafras leaves, and I think it has a better flavor than okra, but that's one of those things that is probably your personal preference or your family preference, or if you're actually from down south, it might be in tradition in your family and where you're from of how you do that. So I particularly don't put okra in it, and we're gonna let this simmer and come back to you in a few hours. All right, this has been simmering for an hour now, and I want to stir this up. Don't worry about the film that's on top. You can skim it off if you like, but I just stir it back in. So right now, this is what it's looking like. I haven't put the turkey in yet. So you have the vegetables, Holy Trinity. I can see garlic. I can see the andouille sausage right there. And the consistency has thickened up. It'll thicken up more as it evaporates. And later we'll add this gumbo filet, and that'll thicken it up too. We're gonna go 1 more hour. And it's gonna simmer, develop that flavor. And we're gonna add the turkey in an hour. We're gonna add the filet in an hour. And we're gonna add some parsley, taste it, adjust the seasoning. Might have to add some more cayenne, Creole seasoning, Cajun seasoning. I have some more turkey stock. I don't think I'm gonna have to add it though. And we'll go from there. Okay, now this gumbo has simmered for 3 hours, and as you can see, it's a lot thicker. So we're gonna add the chopped parsley and the gumbo filet, which is the ground up sassafras leaves. That's gonna help thicken it a little bit more. If it gets too thick on you, just add some more turkey stock, chicken stock, or if you've used all that up, you can just add some water. Let this simmer for 5 minutes, and then after that we dish it up with a side of rice and your favorite hot sauce. All right, so this is it. Gumbo is complete. Turkey and andouille sausage gumbo is done. Simmered for 3 hours, and then, as I said, I added the gumbo filet and also the parsley. The finishing accompaniment would be, if you like it, green onions. So you could put some fresh green onions on top and some more parsley if you wanted to. I just put this for decoration, make it look fancy. I did put some Cajun spice onto the gumbo and the rice. I just sprinkled a little bit more just to give it a little kick. So thank you for watching this, and let's give it a taste. This is white rice. First, before I give it a taste, this is white rice. This is white long grain rice. Use whatever rice you like, of course. This is tradition. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. Oh man, this is great. Celebrate New Year's Eve with some nice gumbo. This is intense. The flavors of the roux are there. You get a little kick of cayenne pepper, the Creole seasoning, the Cajun seasoning that I put in. Andouille has a little bit of kick to it, but it has that smokiness that adds to this. Then you taste the vegetables. And what else do I taste? Just this very earthy stew. It's cold right now. It's the winter time, New Year's Eve. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you make this gumbo, turkey and andouille sausage. If you don't do turkey because you don't have a turkey leftover from Thanksgiving, then use chicken. If you buy one of those rotisserie chickens that are already made from whatever store you go to, and you use that chicken, save the bones, make a stock out of it, and you can create this. It doesn't have to be turkey. Those bones have a lot of flavor, especially if you do it in the way that I told you to do the turkey stock earlier in the video. It's going to be great. Anyway, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Hit that like button. It's that thumbs up one. Hit that one. And there's a little bell on the top. If you want to know when my videos come up, hit that notification bell and it'll tell you that I posted a video. Up next, the next few videos are going to be oxtail soup Hawaiian style. I know I'm going to be making that. Braised short ribs on the bone. I'm going to be making that. And I also have in the pipeline a Portuguese bean soup. Those are the 3 or 4 that I'm going to be working on in the next month, and as this keeps going, I'm going to keep developing videos. One that I definitely want to do is a Jamaican jerk chicken, or maybe even a Jamaican jerk turkey. Don't know yet. So anyway, thanks. Have a great year.